Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Tamara. Yes, studio audience. Man, you were the greatest addition to the show. Y'all, it's the 3-year Podiversary. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all my new listeners, new episodes drop every Thursday. I usually talk about my life, my interests, and the ways I'm trying to grow. So come on back through one more time for the 1 time, 2 time, 3 times, all the times, you feel me? And to all my day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. To all of y'all that came in whenever you came in, thank you so much for your continued support. If you're not, you should totally follow me on social media, and the link to my social media is in the episode notes. And if you are not, you should totally subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have a channel and I get the email notification, which I will, that you subscribed, I will subscribe back. It's literally free 99 for you to support me in that way. I'm trying to grow my channel. Generally, and I say generally because the last couple weeks I have been extremely just behind schedule on all things, but generally YouTube episodes drop at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesdays, so you can actually get the content sooner than those that solely listen on audio. But yes, y'all, it's so crazy. Man, I never would have made it. Listen, when I started this show 3 years ago, if you would have told me that I would make it 3 years, like, I would have never thought, because those of you who are like my day 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever listeners, you know that consistency is something I've really grown in over the years, literally over the years. I've talked about it on this platform, and it's just crazy because there are even times that, like, I'll sit there and think like, man, am I going to run out of stuff to talk about? I don't know why, because it's about my life, and my life, my life be life, and y'all, you know what I'm saying? But it's just so dope that I have really just in this past 3 years, I just do what I want with this platform. I don't ask anybody's permission. I don't really ask for anybody's suggestions either, even though, I get a lot of unsolicited advice, or you should do this, you should do that, from people who I feel like, how about you pick up a mic and start a show? How about you not give me unsolicited advice or unsolicited ideas that I didn't ask for? And the reason why is because this show is literally about my life, my interests, and the ways I'm trying to grow. So you can't really, like, you can't tell me what my interests are. You can't tell me about my life. You can't tell me how I'm trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I get ideas anyways. But y'all, we 3 years in this thing. That's crazy. This is the 3-year Podiversary. In previous years, I've done like live shows and just special events, and I just don't have the capacity to do that right now. When I tell y'all, the bare minimum is where I'm at with a lot of things right now. It just is what it is, and I'm just grateful that I have I am in control of when it comes to like my platforms and my content and stuff like that. Not necessarily related to my company, but just my personal stuff. I'm so grateful that I have control over if I need to pull back or whatever, such as blogging. I haven't written a blog in like a couple weeks, and I don't know if I have writer's block again or what it is, but I literally just have not wanted to do it. And so I haven't, because with that and with this, if it ever gets to a point, which I don't foresee that with podcasting, but if it ever gets to a point with podcasting where I don't want to do it, I'm just going to stop, because these things are not work. And so I'm not going to treat it as such. And so, yeah, I haven't written a blog in a couple weeks. We'll see if today I actually have the desire to write, you know what I'm saying? I just, for whatever reason, haven't, and it just is what it is. So, yeah, guys, this is the 3-year Podiversary episode. It's going to be pretty much like a standard episode, although at the end I will do some reflection or whatever and kind of tell y'all what y'all can expect in year 4, which is just wild, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna start here. And if you know anything about this platform, you know I don't really get off into current events unless it somehow relates to my life or if it just really sticks out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I'm gonna tell y'all a story first so that you can understand why I'm even bringing this up. So, those of you who don't know, 7 years ago, my ex-husband slash father of my 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters and a son, and so the girl's dad was killed. You know what I'm saying? And so that's in and of itself is tragic, but that's not the point of me bringing this up. Months went by, right? And I got a call from an investigator. And I can't even, at this point, if I'm honest, remember exactly why he reached out to me. But he reached out to me and we met or whatever. And in the course of our meeting, I remember saying that he had video footage of my ex outside the store where he ultimately lost his life. Now, let me preface it with this. This wasn't where he got shot. So him and the person that he was with got shot in a park that was near this store or whatever. They drove to the store for whatever reason. He was still up moving around and then lost energy or basically lost his life, right? So when he got killed, I remember wondering like what were his last moments like? You know what I'm saying? Like it was just something that I wondered. And so when the investigator said that he had video, and I don't even remember why he told me because he wasn't like it wasn't on some, oh, do you want to see? It just naturally came up in the course of the conversation. But he mentioned that he had video footage of my ex's last moments of life or whatever. It was like 5 minutes. And so I made the decision, keyword, I made the decision that I wanted to see this video footage because I had wondered what his last moments of life were like. The man said, okay, well, I mean, I can show you, but just know that you're going to see when he dies. Like, you're going to see when whatever. And I'm like, that's okay. I want to see it. The girls weren't there. I met with this man by myself. And it's funny because I actually met with him. I asked, old boss of a job I used to work at. I asked if I could meet at that building because there's cameras and whatever. Because I never dealt with an investigator and I didn't really understand why he reached out to me or whatever. And so I watched this video footage and I was able to see him up walking around still full of life. And then, you just see where first he's up walking around and he was shot one time in the neck. So I believe that if they would have went straight to the hospital instead of going to this store for whatever reason, he probably would have lived because I'm guessing he bled to death is why he died. But either way, he was up walking around, and then you see him not dramatically drop to his knees, but get down to his knees. And then you see him lay down, and he was still alive when he was laying down. He was like shaking his head back and forth and kind of banging his fist on the ground. And what I had been told prior to seeing this video, which is kind of why I had wanted to watch to see if it lined up with what was said, was that he was praying and saying stuff like, Lord, I'm or not Lord, or yeah, Lord, I'm ready, but also like tell my kids I love them and this, that, and the other. And so like what I saw lined up with what I had been told. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because when I made this choice, right, there are times that I make choices to do hard things because I don't want to have regrets or whatever the reason, right? When I made this choice to watch this video, I've never seen it since. Like, I didn't ask for a copy. I didn't then blast it all over social media. I also didn't for years didn't mention it publicly that I had seen it. Like I had told like my kids, even though they weren't there with me, I had told like a few close friends and like his sister and his mom and his brother that has since passed away. But I didn't like make it this thing where I'm putting it all over social media so that people who may not be able to handle such a thing just come across it. You know what I'm saying? I made the choice to watch this, but that was my choice. Now, why do I bring this up? Okay, so most of you listening probably know, even if you didn't know who Takeoff was prior to his passing. And I know Takeoff isn't his real name. And so, no disrespect at all by not saying his actual government name. It's just the general public knew him as Takeoff. I personally had never seen his real name until he passed. And I'm not gonna say like I'm a super duper Migos fan, but I do like their music. I do like them as entertainers. There's like certain rappers when it comes to rap this day and age that I listen to or have on different playlists or whatever, and they are definitely one of those groups, you know what I'm saying? And it's becoming very few and far between, if I'm honest, because as far as like newer rappers, I don't know if I'm getting too old or whatever, but that's beside the point. So I bring all this up because most of us know that he was killed last week, right? Now, I don't always get off into like celebrity deaths because I don't know them, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sad if they had kids or whatever, I definitely relate in that way of like a parent being killed and then kids being left behind just because of what my kids go through. So, especially when it comes to a father that was killed, I'll pray for the mom, the kids or whatever because I relate to that, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, while it's sad, I never like have this emotional like I don't cry for every celebrity death or whatever, but I've actually shed real tears over his death. I've actually just been really bothered by it. But one of the things that I've really been bothered by that I'm seeing this is becoming a sad trend is one, why do we feel the need? And I'm not going to say we because I don't do this. So if you happen to be one of these people, why do you feel the need to post people's videos of either their dead body? I saw a picture of his dead body on the ground, not because I wanted to, but because I just happened to be on Twitter. I saw the video of like the altercation leading up to it, hearing the gunshots, not because I wanted to, but because I just happened to be on Twitter. Why do y'all feel the need to share this stuff? Like, I don't understand. And if you are like so desensitized to stuff like that to where it just has no effect on you, okay, cool, that's you. But why do you think that everyone else who doesn't really get a choice, especially Twitter, these are not people that I'm following. If you know anything about Twitter, you know that if somebody you follow is shares or likes something, you're going to see it. Now Twitter also be suggesting stuff. Like these social media apps are getting to the point where even if I'm not following whoever, I may still see their content because it's being suggested. But nevertheless, why do y'all feel the need to do that? So that's one sad trend that I'm seeing. I'm also seeing where y'all Twitter detectives, and I saw this when this other rapper PNB Rock got killed. Didn't know who he was prior to him getting killed. Never listened to his music to my knowledge. But when he got killed, apparently his girlfriend had, made a status or whatever, like, oh, we're at lunch here, whoop de woo. And then that's ultimately where he got killed. People got into this whole thing about, oh, she set him up, this, that, and the other, not even caring anything about the fact that this woman just lost her boyfriend in front of her face. You know what I'm saying? Like, she watched him get killed. Not caring about that, y'all want to be right so bad that you literally put all over social media that this woman set this man up. And then the truth came out that the people that killed him, like, this is just what they do. They just wait at this restaurant to rob people, and that's just how it went, you know what I'm saying? So we have that is another sad trend where people are so busy trying to be right, or I don't even know what it is, that you're like slandering people like you don't know. I'm seeing this with Quavo though. Like this man lost his nephew in front of him. Like this ain't even about music. They were legit family. You know what I'm saying? They grew up together. I saw that them two plus Offset were apparently raised by either Quavo or Takeoff's mom, but either way, like these are their family. You know what I'm saying? We know them as rappers and are privy to see their lives or whatever as they share on social media, but we don't know these people. They're entertainers to us, but they're family to each other. So he watched his nephew get killed, and there's so much speculation saying that he sacrificed him to the industry. And like, why are you putting that all over social media? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you don't know. It's speculation, not caring about the fact that this man is grieving. And it just, man, y'all different. I don't understand how y'all, whoever y'all may be, it might not be none of my listeners, but if it happens to be you, dude, where is your compassion? Where's your empathy? Like, I don't understand why it's in this day and age so important to be just either go viral or, man, listen, I personally hope I never go viral. You know what I'm saying? I personally hope I am never the main character on Twitter, because all them notifications, just that will give me so much anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I know you can mute stuff, but it's just the whole point that even as a content creator, I love, like, I never want, man, I hope I'm never that known that when I either have a breakup or if somebody dies or there's conspiracy theories related to me, I hope I never make it to that anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. And so, for whatever reason, though, with this death, it just has triggered so many emotions, even related to loss in my own life. But it's just like, y'all really just be putting stuff all over social media. Like, I see so much stuff that I don't like choose to see, wouldn't choose to see, and it's just so wild to me. So if that's you, like, do better. You know what I'm saying? And there's no other way for me to say that. And I mean that lovingly and whatever, but I'm also serious. Like, you got to do better. You got to think about, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people have been through, that you're sharing this content that could trigger such negative emotions in somebody. Like, do better. Like, actually care about the people on the other side of what you're sharing. So that's that on that. But we are at the 3-year Podiversary. That's why I wanted to get that out the way first, because I don't want to end on that note. So I've been reflecting a lot, obviously, on my life, because this podcast was kind of like the springboard of so many different changes in my life. In Facebook memories, it's coming up like what I was saying as far as launching and whatever at this time 3 years ago. So it's just really crazy. But one of the biggest changes has really been like my own personal growth. And it's so crazy because I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I literally just had this moment where I was apologizing to myself and apologizing to God for holding back on the parts of me that I thought wouldn't be accepted in different environments. Like, I'm really at this place now where I'm just like, I'm who I am, and I'm who I am wherever I am. And I've always been that way to a degree. But at the same time, as I said, there were like parts of me that I will hold back in different environments. Like, one of the things was, because people, I feel like, don't take me seriously when I would need them to, I started holding back on like my humor, because it was always, oh, you're so funny, oh, you're whatever. And I don't even be trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I really, most of the time, I'm very serious about whatever I'm saying, but for whatever reason, people will think this, that, and the other is funny, and it used to kind of irritate me, so I started holding back on that. I apologize, y'all, because I am hilarious, and I crack myself up before I either tweet or post or whatever, And so I apologize, you know what I'm saying? And I had to apologize to God because it's like, you created me this way. You created me this way for a reason to fulfill the purposes that you have in my life. My bad for holding back, you know what I'm saying? But then also the part of me that would be silent in environments where I had something valuable to contribute to whatever conversation because I have been in other environments where it wasn't received. Man, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to say I know everything, but the things that I know either because of experience or because it's part of my education or I've researched or whatever. And so I've really had to like apologize to myself. And so when we talk about year 4, right? Because now we're getting into year 4 of the podcast. What can you expect? Less holding back. And the thing about it is, this is probably the space where I am the most transparent. It's even about to get even more transparent because there's things that I'll not talk about because I want to protect somebody or I always think about, okay, this is out there and this person may happen to hear it, but you know what? There are things that I'm learning that could be beneficial to y'all. You know what I'm saying? That at the end of the day, me sharing stuff is never from a malicious standpoint. But as I'm really learning, I have to be okay with being the bad guy in someone's version of what happens. So if somebody happens to hear it and they don't like the way that I felt about something, even though 9 times out of 10, in the interaction, they didn't get that from me because I really am slower to react to stuff lately because I understand that one, how they're treating me is usually a reflection of what they're going through. It might not even have anything to do with this current circumstance or situation or interaction or whatever. And so, me understanding that, I really try to be more understanding and treat people with grace and not just go off on people or whatever. Doesn't mean I don't have direct communication because I very much do, but it's never from a malicious place. You know what I'm saying? But with that, I've like held back on stuff that it's like, man, like there's stuff that has happened in the last week even that I'm like, this would be something that I should be sharing because it could help somebody else to grow. That's literally why I share my life in the ways I'm trying to grow because it's kind of like I know I'm not the only one that's going through this. Might not be the exact circumstances, but the underlying emotions and all of that, we can all relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Why not help? You know what I'm saying? I'm really have been doing a disservice to my platform by not sharing some of the things, and I'll allude to stuff. I'll always say like, and there's so much more going on that I don't even share. Y'all gonna get even that much more, but it's not from a bashing people standpoint. Like that's not what this platform is for. But if you relate to what I'm going through and it helps you to see a different perspective or helps you to see, man, how did I walk through A, B, and C, but still treat the other person lovingly, even though in that moment, in my flesh or in my whatever, I felt this. How did I not go off on that other person? And it takes strength, it takes intentionality, it takes a lot of prayer, you know what I'm saying? But y'all need to hear that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you can expect in year 4. And for me, like, I'm just super grateful that, man, we're at 3-year Podiversary. Like, that's wild. And another thing I've really been doing lately, unrelated to the pod, is like really leaning on God more for emotional support. Man, there's a lot of people that lean on me emotionally that I feel like I should be able to go to them for emotional support. Like, let's have some transparency. Like, I love my parents. I do. My parents support me. Like, I'm staying with my mom. My parents have supported me financially, especially like not like support pay all my bills, but if I ask them for stuff here and there in this past year plus when I was establishing my business, been super supportive. Like I said, I'm staying with my mom and I don't pay rent to be here. My bio dad, just kind of reconnected with him because of him having throat cancer. So there are three parents when I say my parents, right? But if I'm honest, and it doesn't like, I didn't notice it as much until like my kids are all adults, right? And the way that my kids depend on me emotionally still and have always felt that they could depend on me for emotional support, I have never felt that with my parents. Like, I don't go to my parents when I'm going through stuff as far as like for emotional support in the ways that my kids come to me. And even right now, as I'm going through this scenario where like interacting with my bio dad, for example, and he has throat cancer, we literally never talk about anything related to my life at all. And it's just interesting because yes, you have throat cancer, and yes, I want to be there for you, and I want to pray for you, and I ask him like how he's doing. This is all via text or whatever. But it's like at the same time, I'm your daughter going through this, and it's just really interesting that I don't even remotely consider to rely on you. Like, I don't tell him how this makes me feel. Like, I don't tell him anything. I literally treat him as if it was anybody else that I was trying to be there for. But that's kind of wild because you're my dad. You know what I'm saying? But I guess you take that how you want to take that, because I'm realizing that I could tell you exactly what happened and tell you exactly whatever and spell it out and dot all the I's and cross all the T's, comma, exclamation point, whatever. And people are going to still receive it however they want and take it however they want. And so, me understanding that about people, I'm no longer going to let that hold me back from talking about the things that I'm actually going through, because there is a lot that I'm going through. But at the end of the day, this platform is for me. This platform is a therapeutic creative outlet for me. And I'm going to keep it that. And if life is life and there's stuff to talk about that maybe somebody else would wish I wouldn't put out here, again, it's not going to be in a malicious way. But let's be real. How many of y'all can relate to feeling what I just shared about not feeling like I can lean on my parents for emotional support? Now, don't get me wrong. I started it off by telling you that I'm living with my mom rent free at the age of 42. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying my parents are trash, but I'm just saying that sometimes I know there are things that my kids that I fall short. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect and I never claim to be. You know what I'm saying? I know that there are times that I have hurt, disappointed, and let down my kids, and that's okay for them to feel that way. It's not on me to try to control how they feel or how they responded to whatever. I just haven't always shared that on here. You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of felt like, well, dang, I don't want it to seem like whatever. But if you know me and you know my heart is never to bash anybody. Like, that's just not even how I'm built. But if you don't and you take it that way, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't live for the validation or the approval of literally anyone. Now, do I want to be a good example to my kids? Yes. But if I didn't birth you, I'm not really sure how much your opinion matters to me, because it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, I am going to go ahead and get up out of here. But you can expect more of this in year 4. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, make sure you are taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Like, do what you have to do for you to make sure that you are mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, and be healthy in relationships. So that's all I got on that, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for